Have you ever been really drawn in by those mysteries? You know, the cold cases. The ones that just hang over a town for years sometimes, gosh, decades even.
Yeah, they almost feel like modern myths sometimes, don't they? Seemingly impossible to solve.
Exactly. And you have to wonder, how do they finally get solved? How does that resolution actually happen against all odds?
Well, that's what we're diving into today.
Yes, welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to tell you the stories, the incredible stories behind several major cold cases that, well, finally got answers recently.
And it's not just about the grim facts, it's about the twists, the sheer persistence of some investigators, and sometimes just surprising ways the truth comes out.
Right. The mission here, for you listening, is really to follow that journey from this deep, dark mystery to finally some kind of resolution.
And for our insights today, we've looked closely at recent reports, and we're drawing especially from a really detailed video, Infamous Cold Cases Finally Solved in 2022, from the Lazy Masquerade channel on YouTube.
That's right. Now, the tone here, we need to be serious, respectful, of course.
Yeah.
These are real people, real tragedies.
Absolutely.
But the stories themselves, the way they unfold, they're incredibly captivating. Sometimes frightening, even exciting in a way. But the focus is always on understanding, on that search for justice. We want to pull you into these narratives.
Like you're solving it alongside the investigators.
Exactly. So let's start with a really chilling one, the Delphi murders.
Oh, yes. This one. This one is tough.
It is. February 13th, 2017. Two best friends, Abigail Williams, she was 13, and Liberty German, 14. They get a day off school, decide to go for a walk.
On the Moon and High Bridge Trail, just outside Delphi, Indiana, a place they probably thought was safe.
And they just never came back.
It became this huge national case, didn't it? Their last known movements dropped off around 1:35 p.m. by Libby's sister.
And then Libby, incredibly, posts a Snapchat photo at 2:87 p.m. Shows Abby on the bridge. That's the last picture.
Chilling. And by 5:30 p.m., reported missing. The next day, around noon, they found them.
Yeah. About half a mile away, in the woods near Deer Creek. The exact cause of death, police never released that publicly.
No, but court documents, they hinted at some disturbing details. Things like a lot of blood, the bodies being moved and staged.
Ugh. And that the killer took some kind of souvenir. Just awful.
But it was Libby's phone.
Yeah.
Her quick thinking was astounding.
Absolutely critical. The video she managed to record showing this man following them, and that audio clip,
Guys, down the hill, just those few words, so menacing.
became instantly infamous, right? That grainy image from the video, the composite sketch, police circulated those everywhere.
And they felt strongly, didn't they, that the killer was local, someone who knew the area, knew Delphi.
Yeah, which must have terrified the community. For years, there were leads, false hopes.
I remember the Keegan Kline development in 2020. That seemed very promising for a while.
It did. He was arrested on those unrelated cheese pizza charges, child exploitation material. Awful stuff.
And he resembled the sketch, lived near the crime scene, and had this fake online profile, Anthony Shots.
The most disturbing part, he used that profile to contact young girls, including Libby German, on the day she was murdered.
Unbelievable. But, crucially, he wasn't the killer.
No. A depraved sicko, as the source put it, yes. But not the Delphi Slayer. So for over 5.5 years, fear. The monster was still out there.
Living among them, potentially.
Exactly. Then, Halloween 2022, October 31st, the police make this huge announcement.
Richard Allen, 50 years old, charged with the murders.
The shock was just immense, wasn't it? This guy, Richard Allen, a local dad, worked at the CVS store right there in town.
Lived just a mile from Abby's house. Nobody had ever connected him to the case, just seen as a normal guy.
A normal, everyday guy. Libby's grandfather said he was hiding in plain sight the entire time.
And that photo, the selfie in the bar, with the suspect's sketch on the wall behind him?
It's unbelievable. Apparently he used to sit near that sketch, talk about the case with other customers, even theorize about the killer. It's deeply unsettling. Okay, let's unpack this. I mean, the idea of a monster hiding in plain sight like that for so long in a small town, it's chilling. What does this case tell us about, those hidden threats?
Well, it really underscores how people capable of terrible things can just blend in. They exploit that very sense of normalcy, of community trust.
Right. It's not always the obvious outsider.
Exactly. And breakthroughs like this one can come from completely unexpected angles, often after years of painstaking work, or maybe even a bit of luck connecting dots previously missed. The psychological impact on a town like Delphi, it's immense. The sense that the danger was right there all along.
Whew. Okay. From a monster hiding in plain sight, let's shift gears to a completely different kind of mystery. One that spanned, over 70 years?
The Somerton Beach Man, or the Tame and Shud mystery, an absolute classic enigma.
It really is. Starts December 1st, 1948. Morning time. A man's body is found on Somerton Park Beach near Adelaide in Australia.
And the scene itself was just odd. The man looked to be in his 40s or 50s, pretty well built, 5'11", dressed quite smartly, just resting against a seawall.
But the cause of death, that was the first big puzzle.
Totally baffling. No obvious cause, no signs of violence or struggle, but the pathologist suspected poison, something undetectable back then.
And crucially, no ID. Nothing on him to say who he was, so they just called him the Somerton Beach Man.
And the strange clues just kept coming, didn't they?
Oh yeah, layer upon layer. He'd arrived in Adelaide the day before he died, had an unused train ticket to Henley Beach in his pocket.
Then a month later, they find his suitcase in a locker at the train station. Clothes, shaving kit, but also some odd tools like an electrician's screwdriver, sharpened scissors.
And the clothes, this is weird, all the name tags were cut off.
Except for a tie labeled T. Keane, a laundry bag Keane, and an undershirt also marked Keane, but spelled Keam.
But no missing person named T. Keane ever surfaced. It was another dead end.
Until 5 months later, a pathologist, re-examining the clothes, finds this tiny hidden fob pocket sewn into the trousers.
And inside, a tiny rolled up piece of paper.
With just 2 words printed on it. Taman Shud?
Which means...
It's Persian. It means the end, or it's finished. Turns out it was ripped from the last page of a specific rare edition of a poetry book, the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam.
Wow. Okay, so where did the book come from?
That's another strange part. It was found later, just tossed into the back of someone's unlocked car parked nearby. And on the back cover of that book,
more clues.
A handwritten phone number, which led police to a nurse, Jessica Jo Thompson. And she lived only about 400 meters from where the body was found.
Okay, that seems like a huge lead. What did she say?
Her reaction was memorable. Apparently, she looked visibly distressed, almost fainted when shown a plaster cast of the man's face. But she insisted she didn't know him.
Detectives didn't buy it.
They thought she was being evasive, yeah. She asked them not to use her name in reports because she was engaged. And then there was her son, Robin.
What about him?
The resemblance. People noted he looked strikingly similar to the Somerton man. Plus, they shared some rare genetic traits, hypodontia, missing certain teeth, and a specific ear shape. The odds of them not being related were estimated as incredibly slim, like 1 in 10 million or even 1 in 20 million, fueled speculation for decades that Robin was his son.
So a possible family connection, the mysterious nurse.
Yeah.
And then there's the code, right?
Ah, yes, the code. Next to the phone number in the book was this jumble of letters and numbers. Looked like spy code.
Especially given the timing, right after World War II started the Cold War.
Exactly. Everyone thought, maybe he's a spy. Cartographers, military intelligence, everyone tried to crack it. Nothing. An international search for his identity turned up 0. It was like he just appeared out of nowhere to die on that beach.
And the flowers that kept appearing on his grave.
Just added to the whole mystique.
So for 70 years, it's this massive international mystery, spy, jilted lover. Who was he?
Okay.
Then, July 2022, a breakthrough.
A huge one. Thanks largely to Professor Derek Abbott at Adelaide University. He had been obsessed with the case for years.
What did he do?
He worked with Colleen Fitzpatrick, a renowned forensic genealogist. They managed to get DNA, not from the body, which was buried, but from hairs trapped in the original plaster death mask made back in 1949.
Incredible. And using that DNA.
They built an enormous family tree, thousands of people, and finally, they found him. A match.
After 74 years.
Yeah.
Who was he?
His name was Carl Webb, known as Charles, born in 1905, an electrical engineer and instrument maker from Melbourne.
So, not a spy.
Not a spy, a regular guy, seemingly with a somewhat troubled personal life.
And suddenly those old clues started making a different kind of sense.
Exactly. Charles Webb had separated from his wife, Dorothy, in 1947. She'd moved to South Australia. Maybe he came looking for her.
And the T. Keane clothes.
Hand-me-downs. From his brother-in-law, Thomas Keane. Simple as that.
Tame and Shud. The end.
Makes sense for a poetry lover, maybe feeling hopeless about his life, his marriage.
And the code. The spy code.
Probably nothing more than notes related to horse racing bets. Another known interest of his.
Wow. What about the nurse, Jo Thompson, and her son?
Well, the DNA proved Robin wasn't Charles Webb's son. That decades-long theory was wrong. But it seems almost certain Charles knew Jo Thompson. Her number was in his book, after all. The exact nature of their relationship. Still unclear. Maybe romantic, maybe not.
So identity likely solved pending official confirmation. But how he died, still a mystery.
Still officially undetermined, though suicide by an undetectable poison seems the most plausible theory now, fitting the Tom and Shud clue. But questions remain. Why wasn't he reported missing back in 1948? Why Adelaide? What exactly was the deal with Joe Thompson?
Some mysteries might linger forever, I guess.
Professor Abbott himself said some answers might come soon, some might take years, some might never come.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. After 70 years, we get a name, Carl Webb. And the story shifts, doesn't it? From this potentially glamorous, dangerous spy thriller.
To something much more grounded. Almost sad, really. A story of perhaps lost love, despair.
Yeah. So what does this case teach us about how modern science, DNA, genealogy, combined with just sheer dedication from someone like Professor Abbott, can change everything?
It's incredible, isn't it? It shows the sheer power of these new forensic tools. DNA analysis, genetic genealogy, they can reach back decades, even centuries, and pull these long-lost identities out of the fog.
Turning speculation into, well, maybe not always the exciting answer, but the human answer.
Exactly. It often replaces the dramatic theories with something more personal, more poignant. It reminds us that behind these legendary mysteries are often just ordinary people caught in extraordinary, sometimes tragic circumstances.
Yeah.
The technology is literally rewriting history, giving names back to the nameless.
Okay, so we've seen a killer hiding in plain sight and a 70-year-old enigma solved by DNA, our final case tonight. It's more recent, but just as profound, and it highlights a different kind of tragedy.
The tragedy of wrongful conviction.
Yes. This is the story of Maurice Hastings.
A truly heartbreaking case. It starts with Roberta Weidermeyer. In 1983, she went out late one night to a market in Inglewood, Los Angeles. She never made it home.
Her car was spotted later, being driven by someone else. Her husband and a friend actually saw it, chased it.
But the driver fired shots at them, hit the husband, Billy. They had to stop the chase.
And later, Roberta's body was found in the trunk of her car. She'd been sexually assaulted and shot once in the head. Horrific.
Police arrested Maurice Hastings. He seemed to fit the profile they had of the suspect.
But from the very beginning, he insisted he was innocent. Vehemently maintained his innocence, as the source says.
But his trial was in 1988, 5 years after the murder. And here's the crucial part. There was zero physical evidence tying him to the crime scene or to Roberta.
No DNA tests were run back then.
No, none at all. Despite that lack of physical evidence, despite his pleas of innocence, the jury found him guilty.
They deadlocked on the death penalty, apparently.
Right, so he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
And for Roberta's family, for the public, justice seemed served. The case was closed.
But for Maurice Hastings, it was the start of a nightmare. Nearly 4 decades behind bars, all the while insisting he didn't do it.
Did you try to get the DNA tested later?
Repeatedly. Starting way back in 2000, he requested tests on the semen sample found in Roberta's mouth through the DA's Conviction Integrity Unit. Denied. He tried again in 2021. Denied again. For decades, they refused.
Why? If DNA could prove it one way or the other.
That's the question, isn't it? Inertia. Belief the case was closed. We don't know the exact reasons, but the system failed him for a long, long time.
Until June 2022.
Finally. They finally agreed to run the DNA test, and the result...
It wasn't his. The DNA was not from Maurice Hastings.
Not his. They then ran that profile through the state database, CODIS, and they got a match. Another man. A convicted felon already in the system for crimes including kidnapping women and forcing them into car trunks.
Unbelievable. Was he still alive?
No. He had died in prison in 2020 while serving a 56-year sentence for another crime.
So the truth was finally out. After all that time.
Undeniable proof. Maurice had been telling the truth the entire time. Absolutely no evidence he'd ever even met Roberta. Completely innocent.
And he was released.
October 20th, 2022. He walked out of prison after spending more than 38 years locked up for a murder he had absolutely nothing to do with.
38 years, can you even imagine? His words upon release were incredibly moving.
Yeah, he said, I prayed for many years that this day would come. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not standing up here a bitter man. I just want to enjoy my life now while I have it.
Just remarkable lack of bitterness. But think about it. He went in at 31, came out at 69.
Half his life stolen. As the source notes, yeah, he'll likely get compensation, but no amount of money in the world can make up for that loss.
And the final cruelty, his mother. She passed away just 4 months before he was freed. She never got to see him walk out.
Just heartbreaking.
So What does this all mean? I mean, it's devastating. A life stolen, yes, by the actual killer, but also by a system that just failed for almost 4 decades. What can we possibly learn from a case like Maurice Hastings?
It's a profound lesson, isn't it? It speaks volumes about the critical importance of DNA evidence, obviously, but also about the vital role of innocence projects, of conviction integrity units when they actually function as intended.
The need to constantly review old cases, even solved ones.
Absolutely. Maurice Hastings' fight shows incredible personal resilience, yes, but it also holds up this stark mirror to the justice system. It shows how incredibly difficult it can be to overturn a settled conviction, even when the evidence points towards innocence. The burden of proving innocence sometimes seems heavier than the original burden of proving guilt.
It's a huge societal cost, wrongful convictions beyond just the individual.
Immense. It shakes faith in the system. It means the real perpetrator might remain free. It's a failure on multiple levels. This case is just such a powerful reminder that vigilance, integrity, and a willingness to admit error are absolutely crucial.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, we've seen some incredible stories today.
We really have. From Delphi to Somerton Beach to Maurice Hastings. Different eras, different types of cases, but a common thread.
That thread being how truth can eventually surface, right? Through technology like DNA, through just dogged persistence from investigators, or even individuals like Professor Abbott, or sometimes through revisiting old assumptions.
Yeah, unmasking a killer hidden in plain sight, finally naming a man lost to time for 70 years, or freeing someone who was wrongly imprisoned for decades.
These resolutions, they matter deeply. They bring closure, however late, to families. They can right historical wrongs. They sort of reaffirm that relentless pursuit of truth.
It's a powerful testament to that human need for answers, for justice.
So it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? Given how powerful these recent breakthroughs have been, especially with DNA and genealogy, what other secrets are still buried in those cold case files?
How many other hidden truths are just waiting for the right technology or the right person to bring them to light?
And how does this growing ability to uncover facts long after the event change how we think about justice, about memory, about this whole quest for answers?
It's a fascinating question, and we definitely encourage you, our listeners, to keep exploring these cases and topics. There's so much more out there.
Absolutely. And if you found this deep dive compelling, please do give us a like, share it with others who might be interested, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs, for more content like this.
We really appreciate you joining us today.
Yes, thank you for listening and for being part of this community of curious minds. We'll see you next time.